Hello, folks. It's Friday. Cheers, Friday the 20th. Just getting going here, but let's do the thing. Oh, so to start this off, thanks for the lovely comment from. First, he wrote it in French, and then he translated it. Thank you for the feedback, and all of this is very alive, full of a heart that beats for a good rhythm of the world. Well, I really like the way he said that. Thank you very much. Along those same lines, yesterday I did a second interview with Thalum McDonough. I've showed you his records. Pianist, keyboardist, world traveler, friend. I had a second interview for this documentary that he and his partner are working on. They've already premiered the first part of it at something, and I'm in the first part. So I kind of assumed that when he asked me to interview a second time that maybe I messed up. And he said, "No, we want more. We want more of what you have to say." I'm honored, and I love sharing it. Also, a nice little thing that happened yesterday is as I'm going around the different places on the internet, I go to Instagram and I see excuse me, I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm seeing where a local radio personality, Otis 12, who is also was also in bands, the Ogdenetzel Wahalia band. Their album is collectible. But he just retired from the local classical music station KVNO, and they've been doing plaudits to him publicly, acknowledging him, and the most recent thing, he's wearing my T-shirt, and there's pictures of it online, which just touches me, and I'm honored. That's a wonderful. I appreciate it. We're not close friends, but we are allies. I'll put it like that. Haven't gotten together and we used to work together in one of the psychiatric hospitals. So we have quite a connection, actually. I'm honored. So it's very, very pleasing because, part of what they wanted to talk more about is how I do my channel, which is I just get on here and I'm honest about what's going on my mind and I just share. And it resonates with a lot of people. And actually, that's compared to the larger picture of the kind of audience that I could, have. It's a tiny audience, but still to have, on average, 1,000 to 1,400 views every day of whatever I upload. That's cool. And the thing that brought me here was music. And so, musically, what happened yesterday is this. I'll start here. So as I muse upon, of course, we lose someone passes away every day that we know, love, or are connected to. Yesterday, the musical personality that I heard about who died was Nick Gravenites, who was in Big Brother and the Holding Company. I no longer have that album. I did have it at one time on mainstream. I just don't listen to blues that much. But I still have my Quicksilver Messenger Service albums. And their first album here was co-produced by Nick Gravenites. Now, in many ways, this album has a big influence on me. John Cipollina's guitar playing, his vibrato, direct connection on me, direct. As I was trying to learn how to teach myself how to play the guitar, it was his vibrato that I would try to achieve. I don't play like that anymore, but his was so vibrant. It was just like, wow, how's that being done? And I love the sound of it. As I was listening to this, I was hearing on the A side how a couple of their songs, the songwriting and the arrangements are Beatle-esque. And I can see how Quicksilver, maybe someone thought at some point they could be really big in a money way. Good pop, but then they stretch it out and they jam out, like on side 2. So rest in peace, Nick Gravenites. I listened to that whole album, almost like hearing it for the first time, for the first time in years. I also pulled a couple things. I'll just, again, keep it simple. Had not played this in years. This, again, is a favorite. So you're seeing some favorites that I've had all along. This is so beat because my inner circle of friends, when this came out back in the 70s, we all loved Renaissance. And this was one of our party albums, or let's get high and hang out together, talk, do whatever, listen to music. This was an album that we all cherished. I started to play it, and it is trashed. You can't see it. I mean, it looks nice, but this has been played on so many different turntables with different qualities of needles. It's trashed. So I went ahead and put on the CD instead. This is the 2 volumes 1 and 2 of Renaissance's, I guess you could call them the greatest hits. Tales of 1001 Nights, volume 1 and 2. As I was listening to Renaissance in Annie Haslam's voice, it caused me to reflect on why and how I was listening to so much of this music. And again, I'll bring up race, how I was drawn to this expression, female expression, over a lot of, and I love my people, but this music reflected my desire and to want to be a part of the entire world, to see all the possibilities of life and want them and believe that they belong to me, just like they belong to the white people who actually get to do it, and also people of color who have money. This world, you can buy your way into things. But the thing I've always known is that you can buy your way into the club, but if you still have black skin, you're still black. It's an unfortunate reality of the world we live in that I speak about. I don't pretend that it's not there. But that was a part of the listening to the music and how it takes me away from my immediate surroundings, not in my house so much, which I love, but the environment of the community, of our cities, of our country, of the world, the division and the racial disparity, inequality. I've said it before, but I see myself as a planetary citizen. I have as much right to the finest things in life as anyone. Maybe even more so than the people who get it, because so many people who are so rich got there through corruption, through inheritance, and they don't deserve it. Another album that I played that I haven't played in a long time, really enjoyed this. It sounds dated, but really enjoyed this. And it's also in kind of beat from being played so much. Richard Pinhas from the band Helden, French, Rhizosphere. This is back in the days, it was during the days of punk. I never stopped listening to this music while I embraced punk. I was never a hypocrite. I always liked the music and never, that bullshit, of style, of fashion and style. This is really good, but it also is an early album where you can hear Richard Pinhas is still learning how to use these synthesizers and sequencers on here. Since I know how to do it too, I can hear where he's using the arpeggiator and had yet learned about switching and patterns smoothly. It's kind of cool, but beyond that, it's in that Tangerine Dream sort of world of burbling, bubbling synthesizers. I love it. The other album that I pulled to play, I'll just show everything that I played yesterday, was this, Shabaka. This is definitely an album of 2024 for me. Perceive its beauty, acknowledge its grace. This is one of the greatest albums to come out this year. This is the album that Andre 3000 was trying to make with his New Blue Sun. Props to Andre for going there. But he's showing you it's not a put on. This music is very, very spiritual. It's also a reflection of blackness. I'd say Africa, but more universally, blackness. And I'll even include brownness, okay? This is beautiful. Shabaka. I put them away except for one single. I still have this single out, Miles Davis, Red China Blues. I went through a short jag yesterday of playing a bunch of singles. I have thousands. And I have a bunch of singles where I bought from one person a bunch of DJ singles that they didn't want anymore. They'd gone through them, and a lot of it was disco, but I bought them and I kept a bunch. I sold a bunch, but I kept. So yesterday I was listening to some of the singles that I was less familiar with, and as I'm listening, I put on my DJ ears. It's like, yeah, that could have been a hit. Yeah, that could have been hit. And it's like, that was fun. It kind of led me to playing this, the first Kool and the Gang album. When they came out and the music hit the neighborhood, it hit hard. I was like, Kool and the Gang, this is the best new band we've heard in a long time. Instrumental, jamming, funky drummer, busy with that bass drum foot. Nice purple. And I like the label Delight, always have. So this got played all the way through, and it's just, again, I love this music. I love the reflection of reality, the whole picture. So this, as an example of reflecting the direct culture of the people in the band, which are Black Americans, we have the funk, we have the soul, and right away, we have breeze and soul. We have a track for the ladies. You know what I'm saying? This is how it is. Everybody's, thinking about the good thing, thinking about sex and quote unquote love. But I said it right the first word. Everybody's always thinking about sex, including me. We really are, aren't we? So it's in the music, and it's a wonderful thing. Kool and the Gang. I've told the story before where I got to hear them play, but I couldn't go to the show because I was underage. But I had helped to paint the backdrop of the mural inside the club. King Solomon's Mines was the name of this club. It was going to be something special, but corruption brought it down. But my brother was the artist, the one I talked to the other day. I'm so glad that we connected. I have such a peaceful feeling after talking to my brother, after not talking for a long time, knowing that everyone is basically okay. But I helped him paint the mural in there, and Kool and the Gang was one of the premier bands to open the club, and I couldn't go, so I stood outside the stage door and listened. They were incredible. Another play from yesterday. Just fantastic. I don't speak the language, but I feel the spirit. I don't even necessarily need it translated. This is Jorge Ben, a giant like Milton Nascimento and Carlinhos Brown and others. Jorge Ben, Africa, Brazil. This is so full of life. This is so fantastic. So excellent. I managed to find this used, but it's one of those special Vinyl Me Please editions, and you get an art print along with it. It's on this lovely yellow vinyl. Fantastic. Jorge Ben. I have a couple more of his albums. This one, it was a blind pull. It was. I was out there in the living room on my way in here and just reached and grabbed something, and that's what it was. Here's another pull from my compilation crates, and where I was thinking it might be time for this one to go, because this goes back to my post-punk days. And there are quite a few of my post-punk albums that have not, I've sold them. This one stays. Seeds 2 Rock on Cherry Red, and it's the end of the 70s, and this I kept for a couple of tracks in particular. Europeans, the song Europeans. I used to have the single. Damn, I wish I had kept it. Steve Hogarth, who sings in Marillion, started out in that band. Not punk, just indie. Mark Riley, who was in The Fall, has a really good song on here called Favorite Sister. The Revillos, silly. But the other tracks on here that I really like are the Glaxo Babies, Christine Keeler. They couldn't even write their name because of some chemical company or pharmaceutical company where they got the word Glaxo. And then Fisher Z on here. So this was a happy. I actually ended up playing both sides of this twice and kind of reminiscing about the times when this was happening. There's several things that I wish I had kept, like the Mekon's first single, Where Were You? And The Fall, their early single. It's the new thing. I had them, didn't keep them. This came up. I'll go until there's nothing to show that I haven't shown this week. Sisters of Mercy. This is the Record Store Day issue of these EPs all on an album. Nice vinyl. Once again, if you watch me, you have probably seen the video where I share. Saw the Sisters of Mercy live in Chicago. Got to see the show free. This was back when Wayne Hussey was still in the band. It was an intense show. I really like the Sisters of Mercy, and I've done my own cover version of Marianne. I do wish that I could share that stuff with you guys. I do. I have covers of everything from Wire to Clan of Zymox, Sisters of Mercy, Dio. I've done a cover of Dio. So this got pulled. Porcupine Tree, closure continuation, and I have to tip my hat to Steven Wilson. This is growing on me. When I played it, not all of it, but when I played side 1 and 2 of this, it's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, this is good. And every member of the band, Richard Barbieri, Gavin Harrison, their parts are essential to what makes this band. It's not Steven Wilson's band, even though it is, but Porcupine Tree is a band, and their parts are absolutely essential to what makes this special. This is good. Had to grow on me. What else? A couple days ago, it was the anniversary of the death of Jimi Hendrix. I never got to see Jimi Hendrix live. Back in the day, I was too poor, to go to shows. But I bet that I have been within the proximity of Jimi Hendrix here in Omaha, didn't know it because of Buddy Miles and my dad. It's very possible. So I pulled this, the 1980 Japanese repress of Are You Experienced? This is an exceptional pressing of the album. People talk about the different pressings and who mastered this, and there are differences. This is sweet. This is a sweet pressing and cut. And I love this album. I'll never forget the first time I saw it in a JCPenney record store after school with my buddies, Michael Butler and John Pennington, Buddy Miles' cousin, who was one of my best friends. And we were all gobsmacked looking at the cover of Are You Experienced? Seeing this black guy with these two white guys with afros back in the end of the 60s, like, what was it, 1967, 68, when this came out? Back, fresh from trying to get things to change with civil rights, this was revolutionary. And it was so inspiring to me and all of us. We can do this? Black people can do that? What? And then, you heard the music and it was like revolutionary. Jimi Hendrix. I could go on and on and on. The last thing that I played, well, no, it's not. There'll be some repeats from recent. Okay. Hind. I got this from Lamour Records recently. When I first told you about it, I waxed enthusiastic about how good I think it is. It stands. This is one of my albums of the year. Hind by Sebastian Mullart and Henrik Frenden. Find out about this record. There's only 100 copies on vinyl. It's primarily this guy on strings, on viola or violin. I think it's viola. And, it sounds like the cover. That's what I like about albums and records and art, and I really do like good covers. It sounds like that. This is beautiful and comforting. That's the word I'll use. It's comforting. Yeah, and it is part of my nature that when I take them out of the plastic to show and put them back, it's just my habit. I like to put them back right away. So I'll go till I'm done. I'd recently picked this up used down at Grapefruit. Thank goodness for Simon Joyner and that record store. Max Eastley, Steve Beresford, Paul Burwell, David Toop. I discovered that the first time I played this, I played it on the wrong speed. This is a 45 RPM. This is intense. It's like, because it literally makes you want to know what are they doing? Because the sounds are captivating. Things being swung around and whirled, and the physics of what the interaction of the pieces of the whirled music. So this is a quick aside. Besides this, I was watching some TV, and I pulled up some Best of Headbangers Ball yesterday because I do like heavy music. As I was watching it, I'm looking at all the 80s hair metal and how that's all mostly gone out of fashion, looking at how ridiculous people looked at the time. Motley Crue really started it, that look with the super teased hair. When I was young and poor, I would lament that I couldn't afford to buy the groovy styles that I wished I could. You know, I couldn't afford bell bottoms for the longest time, but in a way it's been a blessing to not have been able to do that, because I've grown up just being myself. There are some pictures from in the past where I see what I look like trying to put something together. It's like, but that's real life, isn't it? But the music was really sounding, a lot of it the same, and just a lot of the music sounded the same. This got pulled, and I'm just about done here, am I? Just about done. Hot Chip's last album, Freak Out release. When this first came out, I followed the band. I liked them. The first single, I watched the video, and it was so commercial sounding. It was so obviously meant for the dance floor and to try to get on the radio that it just kind of turned me off. And I put off buying this for a while. I usually buy the records right away. Well, after several months of this sitting in the store at Homer's, it was obvious, well, they bought this for me. Nobody else is going to buy it. I finally bought it. And this is good. The limited edition version, interesting color. They do take a lot of influence from Prince. That's something else I watched on video yesterday, was the Welcome to America DVD. Prince. He was special. But this is good. They construct the music well. I've seen them twice. Or was it once? I think, once. With Tortoise of all bands. But it worked because Hot Chip is a good band. And they can play and they can jam live. I mean, they can get it going. So as we head into the weekend, I'll be watching the news, seeing what's going on, watching the absolute insanity of politics. It's really insane that we have so many people who are willing to put an obviously demented person back in the White House. He's so negative and so unwell, so obviously not balanced, so obviously not of a good heart. You know, I'm talking about Donald Trump and also J.D. Vance. These people are so obviously up to no good. What they want is not good for the country. And it's just dismaying that if they had my color of skin, they'd be dead, or like P. Diddy, they'd be in jail now. It's just so blatant that I have to speak out about it, and speak out about it in this forum, because no, I'm not just going to talk about records in the early days, I would have people come over here and complain to me, you keep the politics out of it. You know, no, I don't. I don't have the luxury of white skin where I can pretend, and you can. That's why I call it what it is, white privilege. The white advantage historically. You can pretend everything's just hunky-dory. I can't go to the Hamptons like I would want to. So I'm going to just keep it like this, keep it real. And please note, if someone leaves a nasty comment, notice the fact that the comment is negative and nasty and unkind and unloving. And that's the energy that I'm talking about coming from these people. It's not okay. It's evil. It's wrong. It doesn't reflect the values that I was raised on. It doesn't reflect the golden rule. Weren't you taught the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Remember, I'm not a Democrat. It's just that I'm not going to vote for a madman, a racist madman on top of it. I'll say it again for you folks who don't understand. I'm not fooled by politics. I know that the Democrats and all politicians have to deal with the power and the clout of the military-industrial complex, and that the military is not going to have their money fucked with. And there's big money in death worldwide. I hate it. I also know that one person, the president or even the vice president, they don't have enough power to stop it behind the scenes. But I bet you Kamala Harris would love to stop the war. If you could ask her to speak honestly, she would probably say, I hate that America's profiting on the killing of children. That's a lot of who gets killed with this shit is kids. Of course, anybody getting killed for no good reason sucks. So I will not be quiet regarding my viewpoint on these events in the world. We could do so much better. We could do so much better. Have a good weekend.